Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Teacher Casey, and if this is your first time here, welcome. Please hit the like button and subscribe. If this isn't your first time here, thank you so much for coming back. Out of all the videos you could have taken a look at, you came and chose this video, and I'm just super excited that you have. Today we're going to do a kind of an FAQ. I've asked some of my friends to answer some VIPKid questions, some of your questions that have come in to me, some that I've found in the Facebook groups. Now, we had so much support from all the teachers from Collaboration Station that we will have a part 2, maybe a part 3. So for today, let's enjoy part 1, and we're going to get started with Donna, Teacher Donna, all about Central Time Zones. Take it away, Donna.
Hello, my name is Teacher Donna, and I'll be talking to you about teaching in Central Time. There are two different times I'll talk about. I'm going to talk about March through November, which is the daylight savings time, and then I'll talk about November through February, where we fall back and have different times that are the peak or the high demand hours. First, I'll talk about March through November, and the peak times are 5 a.m., 5:30, 6, 6:37, and 7:30. So basically from 5 to 8 a.m., you have 6 classes that you can open. If you're certified for trials, or you would like to try to see if you can book some of the students that don't live in mainland China, you can also open the 8 and the 8:30. Because you can get trials during that time and students that don't live in China that are VIPKid students. Friday and Saturday nights, you can open from 7:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. From November to February, when we fall back, the hours change. You have 4 to 6:30 a.m. that are the high demand hours. And then 7 and 7:30 are the classes that you can open for the trial. And then evening, you can just start opening at 6:30 p.m. instead of 7:30 p.m. I like to know the difference between my time and Beijing time. So what I've done mathematically is when I'm teaching, I change the AM to PM, or if night, PM to AM. And then I add 1 hour from March to November. So my 5 a.m. class, I say 5 p.m. plus 1, 6 p.m. That student is taking my class at 6 p.m. his or her time. When we do November to February, we just add 2. So that same 6 p.m. student, I'm now teaching at 4 a.m. 4 a.m., 4 p.m. plus 2, 6 p.m. So that helps me remember when it's morning for me, it's evening for them, and when it's evening for me, it's morning for them. So I hope that helps you with thinking about what you want to book or what you can book when you're teaching at Central Standard Time. Happy teaching!
Awesome. Thanks, Donna. Up next is Teaching While Pregnant with Rebecca. Now, she's got great tips to talk about during your pregnancy, after the baby is born, and as they get a little bit older. So stay tuned for those.
Hello, everyone. This is Teacher Rebecca F. from Rebecca F. Online Teaching on YouTube, and I'm here to talk to you about teaching with a newborn. A lot of people have asked this question, and I'm really sad that I did not chronicleize and talk about my process while pregnant and teaching with VIPKid as well as afterwards. So I'm going to condense everything down to like a few minutes, and we'll see what happens. But if I was smart enough, I would do like a day by day, week by week of what I did. So first off, found out I was pregnant. And I had some of the morning sickness. It's kind of like, hang tight. Everybody's different. Every body is different. Every baby is different. Every pregnancy is different. So it works for one person, might not work for another person. But for me, I knew I could not teach on an empty stomach. It made me sick. So I made sure I had a little bit of something to eat in the morning, a piece of bread, some crackers, whatever it was. If it wasn't too heavy, just kind of enough to give me energy to get going. And I really pushed it during my pregnancy. Like, I taught a lot of classes because I knew I wanted to take some time off after the baby was born. And we relied on the VIPKid paycheck as our main source of income at the time. So there's no maternity leave with VIPKid. There's no like paid time off. Since you're an independent contractor, anything you work, you get paid for it. When you don't work, you don't get paid. So we wanted to save aside a bunch for our maternity leave. So we worked, I worked extra hard. I had a couple more classes in the evenings, on the weekends, in the mornings if I could. And every paycheck we saved a big chunk aside, like, I don't know, a couple $100. If I say $500 or whatever it was, we just go whoop, save into a savings account. I wanted enough that I could last 2 months with either no working or part-time working. Okay, at the time of being pregnant, I worked 50 classes a week. So I knew when I came back, I might only work 20 classes a week because sleep schedule, I wouldn't be able to work a 4-hour chunk every morning like I was. Because babies, newborns, do not sleep for 4 hours straight. Some do, some don't. So I just like, I don't want to be, you know, over eager and then have a screaming baby. So I saved a lot of money during my pregnancy, especially the second and third trimester when I was feeling really good. I'm like, let's do this. And yeah, lots of sleep and it was hard, but I knew that I needed to push through. Okay, so the last month of pregnancy, I went to short notice only. Actually, I was lucky enough to do short notice for a lot longer in the pregnancy, but especially the last month, I suggest you try to go to short notice only. That way, if you have to cancel some classes for when you're in the hospital, you can say cancel and they're forgiven, or you just don't have anything open. And I told my regulars that, hey, I'm going to take some time off when baby's born in late September. So when I come back, I'll come back slowly. So to see you afterwards. And afterwards, they were excited to see pictures on my phone of my baby. So it was good. But if you can't do short notice only and you do need to book out, you can submit your hospital documentation for a soft cancellation. So make sure you have your exit paperwork and just scan it in, or you have 30 days to submit it. And then it can be a soft cancellation for the 2 weeks that you booked out. I didn't want to have 2 weeks booked out and take away from other people. So I just went to short notice only. Okay, so then she was born, and since I was just doing short notice, I went into labor after teaching classes for that day, and I labored all day and then all night, and she was born like at midnight. Well, I had already opened up for the next day short notice, and I got a trial. So I just canceled that one, sent in my documentation, and I was good to go. Now, I had saved up enough money that I was going to take 2 weeks off completely, like do nothing, no teaching at all. I didn't even want to think about it for at least 2 weeks. If you can do more, I would say do more. Save more money or rely on other income so that you can take off more time so your body's not like being pushed, okay? So near the end of those 2 weeks, I started trying to track my baby's sleep schedule. She was just transitioning from days to nights and trying to figure out, you know, her circadian rhythm. So I kind of saw, okay, if I can nurse her like at bedtime and do another one like at 11 o'clock, and she'll wake up about 3 or 4, I'll make sure I nurse her then I could probably do like an hour of teaching, and then she can wake up again. So I kind of had to plan when she was going to nurse or need a bottle or whatever you need to do to feed a newborn. And then when I was going to teach. Now I knew that I only got like 2 chunks of sleep a night before like bedtime and her middle of the night nursing, and then her nursing and then the morning. And I was going to teach during that second half. I'm like, oh, do I have to? Well, we didn't save enough to go completely off for a long time. So I would just open up an hour at a time, short notice for the next day. And if it booked, it booked. If it didn't, it didn't. And then I did an hour and a half. Then I did 2 hours. So I really kept it short. And I made sure that if she did not wake up right before I taught, I snuck into her room and I dream fed her. I wanted her tummy to be full enough that she would sleep the second half so that I could teach. So you kind of have to kind of play with it a little bit to see what works. Sometimes the babies can take a bottle from your partner, and then like my husband could go in there and feed her if she wakes up. My baby didn't want to do that. She did not want to take a bottle at all. So it was all on me. And sometimes even daddy was not good enough to comfort her. Like she just wanted mommy. You know, some babies just do that. They just want mommy. They just want the milk and that's it. So sometimes she had to cry a little bit and sometimes she calmed down. As they get older, like 12 months old, you can start putting some toys near the bed. I have some baskets roped on and hanging on inside her bed filled with toys. So if she wakes up early, she can do a little playing and kind of occupy herself a little bit. But so far, she's been doing good. She's 18 months old, and we've been training her to sleep time through the night. She did get used to that dream feeding at 4 a.m., so that's been really hard to break her of that. With my first daughter, I started VIPKid when she was already 4 months old, and she was one of those wonderful kids who slept through the night from the beginning. So I didn't have to worry about going in there and feeding her and then hopefully she'll sleep the second half. Nope, she was just 12 hours straight from the go. But most babies aren't like that. So you have to just play around and see what works for you, what works for your baby, but start slow. So save up money for a maternity leave. Start slow when you come back. Only open an hour at a time and then put like a gap in between so you can go and run and nurse them or take care of them and then do another hour. So slowly work into your schedule until you can finally open up what you want to open up. Okay? I hope it goes well for you. I hope your pregnancy and your newborn stage is a wonderful time, but take care of yourself, take care of your body, know your limits, and don't overschedule. Find some other ways to supplement income if you really can't get your body to wake up so early. You got this, okay? Baby needs you.
To those who came to this channel specifically for those questions, congratulations on the baby or upcoming baby, whatever you were there for the information for. So let us know what tips you have for parents to be as well. We would love to know. Put them in the comment section below if you have specific tips for while you're pregnant or teaching with a newborn or anything like that. We'd love to know in the comment section below and help other teachers as well. So let's see. Now we're going to talk to Teacher Mary about building rapport with students. All right, Teacher Mary.
Hi there. I'd like to talk about building rapport with students. This is a key, I think, to keeping the classroom engaging and fun for them, and it's meeting them where they're at. So I tune in at the beginning of meeting a new student, try to get a sense of their personality. Are they shy? Are they overactive? And I try to find a place where I can meet them where they're at and slowly guide them to a place where they can be the most successful in the classroom. For instance, if I have a distracted student, I will find a toy that they're playing with and find one of my own and start playing with them. Their eyes start going to me, wondering what I'm going to do next, and then we have the bridge into the content of the lesson. I don't worry so specifically about the actual words on the slide nearly as much as I do about what the objective is in the lesson. So for instance, today I had a student who in level 2 needed to form the negative form of a sentence. This is not a cat. Okay, great. My student had no interest in cats. So I picked something else up and I said, and because he was playing with dinosaurs, I said, is this a dinosaur? And it was like an elephant. He said, this is not a dinosaur. And he pulled out his dinosaur. This is a dinosaur. Great. He used 2 complete sentences, one in the negative form, one in the positive form. He met the lesson objective. We didn't get to the cat. That's not a problem. What I was wanting is for him to be able to make complete sentences, and he did it. So that's one way of really tuning the lesson into the child's interests, bringing it in, and not being fixated on the lesson, specifically word for word.
Awesome. Now we know more about helping our students, but how can we help our parents and build rapport with them? Mary?
Another opportunity to connect and build rapport is in the feedback that you write to the parents. This is an opportunity to connect with parents, whether you have seen them present in the classroom or even if they've been outside, which most of the time we do not see the parents. When you do, make sure in the class to connect with them and say hello, even if it's saying, wow, Johnny did a great job today, excellent. Or praising them for how they have properly or helpfully supported their student. And if they seem like an over-concerned parent, I will say, I really can see how much you are valuing this education for Johnny. And I see that you're really hoping that he does his very best. I want you to know that it's normal when students are first learning the language that they don't get all the answers right. And that's okay with me. I would much rather see Johnny come up with the answer himself so that he can build his confidence rather than rely on someone else for the answer, because gaining independence in his speech is a really important skill. So Mom, thank you for supporting him and giving him the time in the future to answer the questions on his own. This way, when I talk about the thing that their underlying concern and validating it, they're willing to go to the next step and perhaps ease their control over their child. That's just one example, but it's talking about noticing in feedback how Johnny has improved this over the last 6 lessons, or that I'm noticing his reading is becoming more fluent, or I'm noticing that they were sad today and I express my concern. That human connection that makes me know that they're not just any student in front of me, but it's their Johnny with his feelings, his gifts, and his challenges. So take that opportunity and feedback to bring in your soul, bring in your heart for their student, and let them know how valued they are. And that goes a long way towards establishing trust. And as the parent trusts you, they ease their control over their student and realize, they are in good hands. I can back off and let the teacher do their job.
Okay, I could listen to Teacher Mary all day long. She is amazing and always has great tips for us. And speaking of another amazing teacher, let's talk to Teacher Kim all about teaching back-to-back classes. And guys, she's got a lot. Wait till you hear this.
Hello, my name is Teacher Kim. So I was asked to speak on teaching back-to-back classes, and I have quite a bit of experience doing this. On the weekends, I teach 24 to 26 classes back-to-back. I would not recommend you start out with that many, but just to let you know. So some of the things that I do to prepare for my classes, before each class, I make sure I have something to drink nearby because I do get parched when I'm teaching back to back, and I don't always get up between classes to go get something to drink. Another tip is to prep ahead of time if you are a prepper. I'm not, but some people are. They like to know what they're teaching, who they're teaching, what props they need, that kind of thing. Digital props make it a whole lot easier. I can throw up just about anything I need in a heartbeat. But I do like physical props as well and physical rewards. So I have most things near me, but still it's good to have it out and ready before your class. Another thing to keep in mind when you're doing back-to-back classes is start on time, end on time. You want to get as close to that 25 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever class length is, as you can. You want to start when the timer starts. Obviously, you don't want to be late because that's the teacher no-show. But you want to end on time. End right at, I usually try to finish by, I try to be saying goodbye at 25 minutes. When the time changes to 25, I'm like, bye. That way I can have that 5-minute break to run to the bathroom or eat something or mentally prepare for my next class, because I like to, between classes, I look at my age and materials for my next class. I'm not a prepper ahead of time, but I do like to know before I teach a class what I'm going into. Knowing your level of your student and your student's age helps you to know whether you need to talk really fast, or at a normal pace, or if you want to slow it down for them. It can be mentally challenging to jump from one level to another, especially high to low or low to high. So that 5 minutes between classes really gives you that chance to, okay, and I'm ready to go again, and perk yourself back up. But just with back-to-back classes, do what feels right to you. Don't feel like because someone else does a certain number you have to do. There is no perfect number for every teacher. There is a perfect number for each teacher, but not for every teacher across the board. Some teachers can't handle more than 4 classes or 3 classes or even 2 in a row, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. When you are starting out, start with only 1 or 2 classes. You don't want to have 26 classes back to back, because you will be exhausted and you will not make it through with the same spirit you had on the first one. Trust me, it takes some time to build up to a larger number of classes. But just prepare whatever works for you. If you need to take notes, take notes. If you need to go in and wing it, go in and wing it. But I would not recommend a new teacher go in and wing it. Always try to prepare, or at least look over the slides ahead of time so you know what you're teaching. When you've been teaching as long as I have online, then you can kind of wing it if you need to. But just always make sure you give your best in every class, and don't teach more classes in a row than you can handle, so that you are giving your best. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
And to end it all off, let's go back to Teacher Mary to talk a little bit about using feedback for building rapport. All right, take it away, Mary.
The other important thing in terms of building rapport is building rapport with the parents. Now, that's not always possible. Often they're not in the same room. But when I have the opportunity to talk with the parents, or say hello, or just make sure they hear my praise for their students, we begin to build a relationship. And even if it's something like, "Mom, Happy just did a great job. Good work. I love you." That is a way of just communicating from your heart how you're feeling about them, and letting them know that their child is doing great, because that addresses their biggest concern. It's like, my student, okay, is he learning what he needs to? They need to be able to relax, because if the parent is relaxed, the child will relax, and the whole learning environment is much calmer and easy for everyone, including us as teachers.
Wow, thank you, teachers, so much for coming. To those of you that are VIPKid teachers, or those of you that are future VIPKid teachers, if you found a teacher that you really connected with, their links should be below. So check out the channels, check out their Facebook page, whatever is below. Maybe use someone's code if you're thinking about getting started in teaching and you connected with a teacher. You can always use their code to get a little extra help and support that teacher in building their business as well. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps them out too. So I appreciate all of you for coming. I appreciate all the teachers that came to talk to all of you today, and we'll see you in part 2 next week. Bye.